Now he's here now. He's taking care of himself 90%. 90%. Because all the medical cover we have, you cannot. If you go to your HMO, you can't get any treatment. They will tell you, go and pay for it. I have one of my eyes gone, my right eye. He has two of his eyes gone. I know what it is to be blind. Just recently, you discovered that there were a series of protests within some of the states in the Federation. And these protests are not falling short of these demands, statutory demands that are spanned over time, demands that could even help to put the country in the right perspective of a very gallant, fully motivated and ready for combat troops and forces. But you see, because of this neglect, people had to come out in protest. And all of these protests we were doing were peaceful. You could go back and check online, you see how peaceful the protests were, because we had control over the disciplined multitudes of veterans. We just wanted to culminate it. That's why we came to Abuja last week. Last 2 weeks, and we had the main protests in Abuja, the Ministry of Defense and the Ministry of Finance, and we are pressing home some petty demands. When I say petty demands, I'm talking about things that ordinarily in a sane climb will just run as status quo. When you talk about something like a debarment allowance, debarment allowance is just an allowance that should be paid to you like a leave bonus. You know, some of us have organizations where we have staff. Somebody should not be asking for those kind of things, especially in the insecurity quagmire that we have found ourselves in Nigeria and Africa. You know, so these are millions of military personnel fully trained. Some were trained outside the country, and you have a policy that insists that they are paid a peanut amount called debarment allowance that will restrict them from using their skills against the country and against the state. Then this same debarment allowance, they will be begging for it. Then the country came together to say the economic situation has eroded the relevance of the minimum wage of the people, and let's bring it up. Labor fought, everybody fought for it, and the minimum wage increment was established and initiated and implemented. And for the past 24 months, we are in January now, so we are counting 24 months, and you know, when you look at the amount involved, when we went to Ministry of Finance, they showed us the amount. It was around 20 point something billion. And if you go into our corruption cases, you will see that 20 point something billion is meager. And if you go into recovered funds, you will see that 20 point something billion is meager. If you go into areas where we have been seeing grants being given to the country, you will see that that amount is also meager. Then if we now look at the monies being spent to procure military hardware and military equipment, and you know that when you have these people that will need to use this equipment to work, and these people are poorly motivated based on the trickling effect of how the veterans are treated, is that not a wasted venture? So we did what we did, and we went to the Ministry of Defense. So we didn't leave that place. We wanted to make sure that we got documented wordings that we hold them accountable to whatever promises they have been given over the decades. And the Minister of Defense gave us the letters that they wrote. The Honorable Minister of Finance also asked her team to give us letters to show.
It's quite heavy, so there was no way it could have been paid for in 2021. Yes. So what we have done is to include it in the 2022 budget. And I'm aware that Commodore Lawal of
Rear Admiral now.
Yeah, okay, Rear Admiral Lawal of Military Pensions Board has informed you that it's in the budget. Yes. And I want to reassure you as the custodian of the budget that that money is in the budget. And as soon as we settle in and we start issuing warrants to expend this budget, Mr. President has already signed the budget. So one of the things I would like to plead with you is to please allow us, because this is a critical moment for the Federal Ministry of Finance.
Now wordings are coming out again that the budget will not be fully implemented until March, April. So are you telling us that after telling the millions of veterans that this January they will begin to see benefits of their struggle, now the whole veteran community planned to storm Abuja for this January 15th project? They planned it and it was executed, and they think that because we are leaders in the committees and all that, we could press them down. It's not possible, because these are fighting machines created, trained and recruited and abused by the same country. Now you see that we had to hold series of meetings placating these veterans in different venues till like 2 a.m. this morning, trying to beg them not to come out for an embarrassing situation, because we expect that the country will be responsible to its words, which has been documented on paper. Right now as I speak to you, some of us were invited for the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, which we attended it, and during the whole of the narratives I had, I'm sure the other media that were there that covered it could also produce the evidence that I'm not giving a fallacy here, that the commentator said that all the people that gave monies and support for the Armed Forces Remembrance Day and to commemorate the fallen heroes should please help to begin to press for opportunities of the children of the fallen heroes and the ones alive to be able to get academic support, sponsorship, and he mentioned that they should please talk to whoever to ensure that the spouses are engaged economically. Even if you didn't lost your husband through any other means, imagine being in the barracks without any opportunity to go commercial like all of your other colleagues. Imagine that restriction of the discipline and control within the barracks, the security environment. How can a woman be able to be economically viable? And the man mentioned that they are expecting this kind of support to be for those people. When they said it, I looked around. When I looked around, I didn't see the sick. I didn't see the motherless and the fatherless. I didn't see the wives of the fallen heroes. We have some people that have formed an organization already. They call them widows of the fallen heroes. Let me tell you something. The media need to go into investigations. We have series of complaints coming to our desk on how this set of people are suffering, because once the man dies, the medical that is even not plausible for his current status and ailment does not become applicable anymore. So that means after I die, my pension stops, all my support from government stops because I am late. What about my loved ones? What about the children whom some of them have gone to join the military right now? We have a lot of people in the military that are children to veterans. We have a lot of senior officers that their children are also serving. President Olusegun, ex-President Olusegun Obasanjo, and so many others. So many of them, their children are officers in the military. Why do you think they won't support themselves? That is why you see so many cases of senior military officers getting complicit in financial misappropriation, getting complicit in procurement misappropriation, because everybody needs to take care of themselves. There is nothing outside when you leave the office. So is it not time for the government to say, let us put as an order to pay this debarment allowance immediately the guy is getting his gratuity, and to pay all of the arrears? Is it not time to say, as express instruction, the 24 months outstanding, pay it at once so people can get buffer to begin to get their life back? Because high blood pressure is one of the major things that is killing veterans right now. Is it not time to say, this medical package that we gave to military veterans, is it appropriate for the kind of ailments that they are being to face right now? Arthritis, diabetes, high blood pressure, and all those kind of ailments, eyesight constraints and all that. Is it not? So when the government does not begin to capture how to put into conditions where these people that leave the military supposed to get shelter over their head. A veteran that his pension is 32,000 naira. How can that man pay house rent, take care of the kids? He's coming out from the barracks, coming out from his weaponry, coming out from his rucksack, coming out of his strength. He's now coming out to meet the same civilians that is supposed to be protecting, but within the context of protecting the civilians through national order, he has also 1 or 2 times stepped on the toes of civilians, and now he's coming out to face them. So it's not those days where they say old soldier. Now we saw during the EndSARS how policemen and military people are being killed. As I speak to you now, so many retired military personnel, they are targets in everywhere where they live. The bandits and all this lawlessness that is going on makes them target. So they don't have accommodation, they don't have any support from the government. We are done with this. We were able to placate them till 2 a.m. to a.m. this morning that they should not come out and embarrass the country. We are looking forward to serious expedited closures on all the promises made, on all the letters they wrote, on all the gazetted approvals that have gone through every ranks. We are not interested to know if it's on the desk of the president or not. The matter is a hot matter and is supposed to have the appropriate closure that we expect. So I don't want us to be taken unawares when we begin to see veterans coming out, because it is just a time bomb. Because definitely January 15th has passed or not, the veterans also know what to do to get their demands into focus. Thank you.